What's up, fitness family? Welcome to another episode of the True Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Conway, at Adrian Conway _ on Instagram, and also here on YouTube if you're checking on the channel. Welcome to another episode, folks. Today, we are going through another question that is asked of us here on the YouTube channel or that was sent to info@truefitness.com, and it's about nutrition. Now, this question can be very broad, but I'm going to try to dial it into a response that I think is appropriate and, of course, keeps us in and around that 10-minute mark so that I can remain a little bit condensed in the information that I deliver. But here's the question. Topic: how performance is impacted by the quality of your nutrition. This is from @Simple Habits, Great Results. Well, @Simple Habits, Great Results. If you follow me, if you follow CrossFit at all, you will understand and have a very maybe broad or detailed view of the theoretical development of an athlete. Coach Greg Glassman, the founder of CrossFit and the methodology, he created this hierarchy. It's a pyramid. The base of that pyramid is nutrition. From there, it goes to metabolic conditioning, as nutrition, of course, directly impacts the way that you metabolize your food, the way that your body in general functions, from blood flow to sweating to heating itself to the energy levels that you have, right? Metabolic conditioning is a big piece of that. And then it goes into gymnastics. That's your body weight in space. And that involves any kind of push-ups, pull-ups, burpees, handstand walking, air squats, anything that involves your body without an external load, doing things. And then above that is weightlifting and throwing. And then above that at the peak is sport. Now, if y'all are visual learners, a lot like me, I got an example here of the hierarchy of development of an athlete. And this is it. This is exactly what I described to you: nutrition, metabolic conditioning, gymnastics, weightlifting and throwing, and then sport. Now, I use this to answer your question about how nutrition impacts performance, because as you see it as the basis, when you see it as an example of a pyramid, you understand that the height of the pyramid will always be limited by its base, the width of the base. How well you establish the base of a pyramid dictates how well it will be built, how high it will be built, and of course, the type of withstanding that it can do in its existence. If you want to function at a high level, if you want to optimize your human traits at a high level, and if you simply want to perform in any way at the highest level, you will focus and prioritize nutrition. Now, why is this the case? Well, because it's the base of the pyramid, it literally impacts everything that you do. Now, y'all are going to be listening to this podcast and be like, Coach Conway, you are gassing this up so much. I know so many athletes that are high achievers that put trash in their bodies. I'm going to be honest with you. They are functioning at a fraction of their athletic capacity and their fitness capacity and their performance capacity because they're not prioritizing what they put into their body. It's not untrue that there are absolute freaks in this world. I've taken second fiddle to many of them in my pursuit of trying to be an NFL football player through my heyday. I played Division I football. It was rarely that it was the best and most obedient athletes and the most obedient athletes to early bedtimes or curfews or not smoking weed or not staying out late with the girls or not getting wasted on the weekends. Those guys were often the best athletes on our team. That doesn't mean that they were optimizing their own performance. That especially means that you average Joes out there that really haven't been gifted with some of the most DNA in regards to the prowess of athletic capacity, you definitely need to be prioritizing your nutrition. My advice to every client that I work with is that my hopes are that they draw from me the inspiration and the conviction to leave no stone unturned. What that means is if they come to me and they say, Adrian, I really want to lose some weight. I want to get in the best shape of my life. Awesome. We're starting with nutrition. Coach Conway, I want to go to the CrossFit Games. Awesome. But I don't really like to track my food. I don't really want to, that's a stress to me. Okay, cool. So you don't really want to go to the CrossFit Games, because I'm going to tell you right now, you're not Dallin Pepper. You're not Rich Froning. You're not Jason Hopper. You're not these people. So you think that you might be able to do what they do and still achieve what they achieve. No, it's not how it's going to work. You're going to have to be set apart in your approach. You're going to have to be more committed than the people that are doing it ahead of you or doing it at a better level. You see, I get a little passionate about this because I speak with conviction about understanding and knowing. My whole athletic career, I always wanted to look back and say, whatever I pursued, I never wanted to wonder, what if I could have done a better job? What if I would have dialed in my nutrition just a little more? What if the pain would have set in a little bit later on Murph and I could have then done my push-ups a little faster on the turf on that hot day at the CrossFit Games in 2015? And then I would have got up and ran a little faster on that opening 800 meter, that final mile. And then instead of sprinting to get seventh overall in that event, I'm sprinting to get second on that event. What would that have done for my personal life? What would that have done for my points in that particular day of the test? What would that have done for psychological and physical momentum in regards to what test awaited us next, which was a speed snatch ladder after Murph, which is disgusting. Thanks, Dave Castro. But you get the idea. So as you hear me talking about this, not even at a cellular level, nutrition is important. And now I want to lean into the fact that nutrition isn't just a theoretical hierarchy of development of an athlete, but it is literally the theoretical development and hierarchy for humans. So we are at a point in our world where when you look at this pyramid and you understand how important it is, that if you ignore the priority of nutrition, you are going to be overrun with processed foods. You're going to be overrun with convenient ingredients that have maybe negative long-term effects. And it might even be that we don't need to look into the details or daydream or lean into some of the science, quote unquote science, that shares like, oh, oils are bad or certain oils are bad or like vegetables are going to kill you. But it's more so that we live in a place where time restraints, convenience, and ingredients in the processed foods, these ultra processed foods that often we're eating, are so rich in calories that we are becoming fat and getting sick because we're not active enough, but primarily because we put stuff into our mouth that we think zero about. We don't want to prioritize that because it's much sexier to eat on the go and eat mindlessly and not sit down and spend an hour in the kitchen. Although what's wrong with an hour in the kitchen? If you can't spend an hour in the kitchen, but you spend an hour on social media each day, that's a problem. Listen to it closely. If you can't spend an hour in the kitchen, but you spend an hour on social media each day, we have a problem. Be more human. Be more human and less robot. And I know that, again, that sounds like Adrian, you're being insensitive. I've got these needs and my life is a certain way and I can't spend an hour in the kitchen. I think you're probably lying to yourself. And I think it's because you don't want to change other things. And this is a rant. You weren't asking for this rant, but I'm leaning into, again, the understanding of what is important about nutrition. And it's everything. Because nutrition is the base, not just for top level athletes, but for every human. When I eat better, I have more energy. When I eat better, I sleep better. When I sleep better, I have less cravings the next day. When I have less cravings the next day, I am less emotionally volatile. When I am less emotionally volatile, when my wife brings to me a concern that she has about our children or something that I might need to change as a husband or someone needs extra support, I am more steadfast and more steady for those people. That all came back to me being more focused on myself and my nutrition. But that doesn't come in a convenient way. There's no convenient way for that to come. Because, see, I've got to be the one in tune with, well, what kind of groceries are we shopping for? How am I going to prepare those foods? When do I have time to prepare those foods? When am I going to sit down and enjoy this meal with my people? Because it's important to eat as a family. I have a family. It's important to eat with them. If you live alone and you don't eat with other people, I would encourage you to find times to break bread with other people. It seems to be embedded in our DNA that there's a happiness that comes from sitting down to eat, slowing down, looking at your food, eating it, not looking at your phone while you're eating it, chewing it slowly, letting it digest thoroughly, enjoying something that you prepared. There's aspects of fulfillment. There's aspects of achievement. There's aspects clearly of growth when you learn how to prepare real food the way that God designed it and put it on this earth for us versus these processed foods that we just stuff into a box that heats it up somehow internally out by whatever it's sending in there, right? So I'm being a little bit sarcastic. I'm being a little bit over the top. But nutrition impacts performance because it impacts everything. Now let's take it back to the performance aspect, not just the human performance, but athlete performance. We know that even athlete performance isn't dictated by the way they train. Athlete performance is the way that they respond to their training. And if this is a truth, and if you believe this truth, well, if you don't believe this truth, you're ignorant and you're unknowing. We don't grow and respond and get faster and bigger and more fit because of the way that we beat our bodies down in training. It's the response to the beating the down, right? So if you think that you can go into the gym and train hard and you sleep well without prioritizing nutrition, or you think that you go into the gym and burn it down or pay a coach hundreds of dollars a month to oversee all this great program design and you waste your time by doing the training the best you can, and then you want to think nothing about what you put into your body, do you think you sleep optimally? Do you think you're controlling the inflammation that's taking place in your joints? Do you think you're metabolizing waste in local muscles the best way and most optimally when you're doing those hard bike intervals? Do you think about that? Do you think about the acidity of foods and the way that it affects your muscles and the way that it affects the way that your breathing rate, the stress that it puts on your body? Do you think about meeting the expectation of just enough calories? Because when you go into a conditioning session just a little flat and you leave 40 seconds on the floor, that the athlete who paid attention to their nutrition and came to the gym to get better and didn't leave 40 seconds on the floor and they optimized their own time, that athlete got so much better than you in that day. And it was only because they prioritized their nutrition. Maybe it literally, you take yourself as athlete A and take yourself as athlete B. Athlete A didn't focus on nutrition. Athlete B did focus on nutrition. And now you're 30 seconds faster, and that 30 seconds faster every single day exponentially increases the rate at which you perform, the rate at which you psychologically have confidence in yourself, and everything else that leads into everything else. How does nutrition impact performance? In every single way, including self-confidence and assuredness. Now, there's a balance. Sometimes people approach us. I mean, there's people out there that say, "Hey, don't weigh and measure your food. Use hand measures. Use your plate as a measure." That's still bringing quantification to weighing and measuring your food. You don't have to literally have a food scale all the time, but you should pay attention to the quality of food that you eat, and of course, the quantities of the macronutrients that you eat. If you take yourself seriously, that's just my opinion. Not everybody has to agree, and that is okay. I have no problem with that. But I'm going to tell you right now, you either need to have a chef, your spouse, your partner, someone looking out for the way that you're eating and how you're eating it, and not being completely clueless. Because if you eat with your emotions, there's going to be days where you completely overeat and most of the days where you completely undereat, and it will bite your performance in the butt. Now, I'll tell you, a lot of athletes at a high level are simply under consuming a lot of foods. Let me take a step in the other direction and say there's a lot of day-to-day athletes who want to pretend they're performing and training like elite athletes, and they fuel in a way like an idiot that leads them to not leaning out and meeting a better body composition, that would lead to a better performance, that would lead to better recovery, all these things, because they think they need to have gummy bears as a workout stimulant for their energy, and they work out an hour a day. Like they're eating added sugar, they're drinking carbohydrates, they're doing things. You work out an hour a day really hard. Yeah, cool, awesome. You can fuel and replace all the glycogen that you need with real whole foods when you work out hard for an hour a day. It's not something that you need specialized nutrition and all the supplementation and all the things. You don't. You need to invest in yourself by understanding what kind of foods. Hey, is it wrong to eat bread, bagels, English muffins, rice, potatoes? No. Those are good carbs. Decide and differentiate what works for you from a digestive perspective. What I mean by this is that, like, I do really well with sourdough bread. Historically, I avoided bread because, one, I cut it out and I felt better, but it was because I was eating a bread that was actually creating inflammation in my gut, and it was bothering me, and my joints would get achy and I'd be gassy and bloated. Sourdough bread doesn't do that to me. I love Bubba's bagels. I love English muffins. Like, these are things that I legitimately eat every single day in my performance, when I'm my leanest or I'm my strongest or I'm my fittest. I eat rice. I eat potatoes. I love potatoes. Can't get enough sweet potatoes, white potatoes, all the potatoes, right? But you do have to figure out what works for you in order to decide where the quality of food lies. This is interesting, and it's a hard topic for me, but we're talking about now food preference, because this is another obstacle that athletes have to deal with. Is, Adrian, I'm kind of a picky eater, and I feel for these people. I really do. Because I personally just want to kind of smack them in the face and say, eat it anyways. Because it's like meeting an exercise that you don't like, in my opinion, right? It's like saying, like, hey, I don't really like thrusters, but I want to be good at CrossFit. Here's these thrusters, get them. I don't really like eating spinach, Adrian. It's not my thing. It's not my. Here's the spinach. Eat it. Didn't you say you had this goal? That's it. But see, that's the kind of knucklehead I am. It's like, if you tell me I need to do something in order to be over here and this is where I want to be, I'm doing a thing. In fact, I might be doing it 3 times. And you might need to tell me, no, Adrian, please don't do that. You're going to hurt yourself. Only do it once, right? Like, that's the kind of mindset I have. That's the kind of athlete that naturally is drawn to me in a lot of ways. And often I find myself having to talk these dogs off the ledge because they just want to do so much and do the thing, but we're trying to optimize, not overwork, right? But on the other side of the coin, there's still these folks that are like, yeah, man, I don't do the veggie thing and I don't like and I'll do this, but I won't do that. But I won't do that. That's what it reminds me of. I'm sorry. Again, I'm on a rant. I apologize. I hope that this breeds an understanding and a conviction in your own life. If you are an everyday athlete just trying to be a good human, you need to get your nutrition in line. You need to pay attention to how you fuel your body. It is the thing that you do every single day. It is the thing that you do multiple times a day. It is the thing that you likely do most before you check out of this earth is eat. You have to understand the way your body responds to food, what it does for you, when you should do it, and all the things. And if you need help, that is what we do. We have True Fitness on Instagram. We also have True Nutrition. We have a separate IG just for the idea of people helping to understand that this is a big part of where we focus. I do nutrition coaching for the athletes and the clients that come on for my personalized programming. My wife oversees several athletes and people that are in pursuit of many different things, from weight loss to weight gain to optimizing performance to simply trying to learn how to fuel their families better. We work with people in a lot of different ways from a nutrition perspective, but it is what we do. So we offer this support in many different ways. So if you're looking for that, please go to truefitness.com and schedule a consultation with us. We'd love to chat with you and at least see if it would be a good fit and see if it's something that we can help you with. It's really what fills our cups and what literally is our purpose and involvement in the fitness space is to help people rise up. So nonetheless, team, I wanted to keep it closer to 15 minutes and we're well over, approaching 18 minutes as I get to my close here. Pay attention to your fueling. It is the most underrated and overlooked aspect of getting a better physique, performing at a higher level, or just being a happier human. That's the whole idea. I tell my kids all the time, I want you to be happy and healthy. And if you pay attention to your fuel, you start tracking a little bit more accurately. And then, of course, you flex that discipline muscle. And sometimes you need accountability. And that's why I'll close with this. Rise 45 is coming up. April 28th is the day that we start. You have got to sign up and be on board about a week prior to that. The live sign up link may be live already. Check out truefitness.com. We might have a link for you guys already there. But Rise 45 is a 45-day challenge where we help you be a bit more sensitive to the accountability. And there will be a $500 winner this time for the greatest transformation through the 45 days. It isn't an all-in effort. That means that we will prescribe the daily achievements and tasks, and you don't got to be 1,000 out of 1,000 through this challenge for the 45 days. You simply have to understand, and the whole goal is for us to teach you that you can be on your way to achieving some amazing things from a fitness perspective, from a lifestyle perspective, and also from a body perspective, by just being compliant as best as you can daily. It's not about being 6 out of 6 or 7 out of 7. It's about being 4 out of 6 most days. It's about being 6 out of 6 some days. It's about fighting to be 5 out of 6 on other days, right? But we're going to hit a lot more than we miss, and we're going to do our best not to be 100%, but to really be as close as we can to 90. And that's going to get us a lot of the great results. I believe that's how I've been living my life for the last 20 years. And it's gotten me a very long way from a fitness perspective and from a lifestyle perspective. But nonetheless, Rise 45, be on the lookout for it. That is our theme for Summer Shred, to get you back on the horse from where you probably missed out on, where you started the year strong on January 1, but really, where are you now going into the month of May? We'll help you there. April 28th, get signed up way before that. I don't know when I'm going to launch this podcast, so that's why I'm a little bit evasive with the dates that I'm handing out in regards to deadline. But folks, I hope you enjoyed this a little bit. I hope you appreciate my rants. Please comment on this YouTube video if you're watching it. Hit me with another question, maybe something that I'll stay a little bit more between the lines of and help answer directly to help you in your fitness journey. And if you hated this video, please make sure you hit that like button twice to give us a thumbs down, and definitely hit the like button once if you enjoyed it. Give us some encouragement. It's going to help the video continue to reach more people, inspire more people. And of course, our whole goal, I'm here, you're here, hopefully to continue to rise up. Keep rising.